You know what? Okay, I know I'm insane and I know I'm the internet's favorite crash out. What I'm gonna say right now is I'm not paying my debt anymore. What we're doing from this point forward is a debt strike 2025. If I have to do it alone and be insane, I will!
As we all know by now, Nissan is in one of the worst downward spirals in automotive history. So bad that last year they had an 87% crash in profits and they posted an abysmal $4.5 billion loss for the year of 2024.
Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, go ahead and tap that subscribe button and become part of a growing community that looks deeper, asks harder questions, and never settles for surface-level headlines. And if you're already subscribed, thank you. Seriously, every view, like, and comment helps us bring you real stories that matter. Before we dive in, huge acknowledgement goes out to the creators, whistleblowers, everyday people, and independent journalists who are bringing this story to light. From social media threads to blog posts to anonymous leaks, your courage is the reason we even know what's happening behind closed doors. This video is for you. Today, we're covering a major development that could shake up the global economy, especially for workers in manufacturing. Nissan has officially announced a massive layoff plan impacting 10,000 employees worldwide. And for thousands of families, the fallout has already begun.
Things seem to be getting much worse for Nissan. According to reports out of Japan today, the company now plans to lay off another 10,000 employees worldwide. And that's in addition to the previous layoffs, which brings the total to right around 20,000 or roughly 15% of their total workforce, which is crazy. Now, when Nissan had originally announced that they would be laying off employees, they also expressed plans to shut down some of their manufacturing facilities and reduce their production capacity by 20%. Recently, Nissan's former CEO came out and said that he places the blame on his successors, saying that the leadership's decision-making was too slow and that the company is now in a desperate situation. He even highlighted the fact that they're now, quote, forced to go begging for help from one of its main competitors in Japan, end quote. Of course, the competitor he's referring to is Honda, but that strategy came to an end after negotiations fell apart between the two companies. Now, Nissan is due to announce its full-year results, I believe, tomorrow, which are expected to be pretty ugly, but just how ugly, we'll have to wait and see. Is this the end for Nissan? Let me know what you guys think.
Nissan is getting so desperate now. They just revealed their plan to save the company, and I think you're gonna laugh. They're planning on reviving a popular model name, but I promise it's just a distraction from the shit show. As we all know by now, Nissan is in one of the worst downward spirals in automotive history. So bad that last year they had an 87% crash in profits, and they posted an abysmal $4.5 billion loss for the year of 2024. Now, next to those abysmal financial results, Nissan announced their recovery plan that's going to take the next few years. That plan includes slashing over 11,000 more jobs, shutting down almost half of their factories, and desperately restructuring under a new plan called Re-Nissan. This plan is going to cost them $3 billion. Buried deep in that chaos is a brief mention of a new skyline. Sounds exciting, but I promise it's not the skyline you're dreaming of. This isn't about the GTR or the famous sports car from back in the day. This is about trimming fat and speeding up development times. This new skyline is probably just going to be a rebadged version of the new Infiniti Q50, but it'll be built faster and cheaper with fewer parts, all under the illusion of progress. So yeah, Nissan has a so-called plan, and there's a new skyline coming, but what do you think this will do for this dying company?
I hate to be the breaker of bad news, but Nissan is laying off an additional 11,000 people, on top of that closing 7 plants. The writing was on the wall when they didn't take that merge with Honda, and now they're gonna feel the effects of it. And if you don't believe me, here's the article. There it is, coming from US Today. Yeah. The writing was on the wall. When they didn't take that merger, I knew this was going to happen. So, if you want a cheap car, you can always buy a Nissan. because with this happening, I guarantee those cars are going to be extremely discounted versus marking them up, because they're going to need all the money. And don't quote me, but I do see that merger happening in the future with Honda now that this is happening.
Let's break it down. Nissan is conducting the layoffs in 2 phases. The first 5,000 workers have already been laid off, and the second wave is expected to begin in the coming weeks. While the company cites restructuring and economic sustainability for those who've lost their jobs, it feels more like a blindside. What's making this worse is the timing. These layoffs are hitting during what many experts are calling a global economic meltdown. Rising inflation, stagnant job creation, and increased living costs are making it nearly impossible for laid-off workers to bounce back quickly. Some of the affected individuals have started sharing their experiences online. One former Nissan engineer in the US said, "It's not just a job I lost. It's the career I trained for, the life I built, and now I'm stuck searching for work in a flooded market." Similar sentiments are echoing from Japan, the UK, Mexico, and other countries where Nissan operates. Analysts say the company is trying to stay ahead of the industry's shift toward electric vehicles, which requires fewer workers and different skills. But critics argue that the cost is too high, not just in jobs lost, but in the psychological and financial toll on entire communities that depend on Nissan plants. Local governments and unions are beginning to push back. In some regions, calls for emergency support packages, worker retraining programs, and even government investigations into Nissan's decision-making are growing louder. But for many of the laid-off workers, help can't come fast enough. And let's not forget, this is more than a Nissan problem. It's part of a larger trend we're seeing across industries, companies cutting labor to appease shareholders, while real people are left behind.
When it's cool out.
Well, that's not my problem, boss man. You steady trying to give me reasons why you're okay with getting out your car instead of respecting why you need to stay in your car. The conversation could have went totally different if you just listened to what I was telling you, but you didn't want to follow instructions, so that's the next step. We all adults here. Mm-hmm. So if you understand where you went wrong, you can understand why I feel the way I feel. You were wrong because you didn't want to get back in your car. Can you agree to that? You were wrong for that. No, sir. You were wrong for that. That is a yes or no question. You were wrong for that. They asked you politely to get back in your car. You said, no, it is too hot. So you're disobeying what they're asking you politely 3 or 4 times. So that's when I have to step in and tell you, you're going to get back in your car, we're not going to do your service. If I already drained your car. So since I already drained it, I was going to do the service anyway. But if I didn't drain your car, I wasn't going to do the oil change or inspection. Because you didn't want to listen.
You got any medical certification? Are you trained in first aid? Are you trained in first aid?
Unrelated topic, but if I have learned anything seeing all these layoffs and people losing their jobs or being fired, etc., it's that we need to learn how to make our own money. Depending on a company or whatever to get you your paycheck so you can pay your mortgage or bills is not working, because clearly they don't care about us. They don't care if you got a family. They don't care if you go hungry. It's all about their numbers and their profit. So if you are hindering that, then they're going to get rid of you. It don't matter if you're loyal to the company for 10, 20 years. They're going to write you that same email that they're writing everybody else and say, have a good life. So entrepreneurship has to be where it's at, because at least you're in control of your funds. That's all for my TED Talk today, y'all. I'm praying for everybody who's lost their jobs or, anything like that. I'm hoping that you get something better. Something better is coming on the way. So y'all keep your heads up.
You know what? Okay, I know I'm insane and I know I'm the internet's favorite crash out. What I'm going to say right now is I'm not paying my debt anymore. What we're doing from this point forward is a debt strike 2025. If I have to do it alone and be insane, I will. I literally will. The fact that we would continue paying our debt, we can't stop paying our rent because that's too crazy. It'll put a lot of people in harm. I'm sick of protesting. It does nothing. I don't want to go to war because look how skinny my arms are. We have to do something. I'm not paying my debt. You can join me on this or you cannot. I'm going to take a picture of, and I'm going to keep records of the debt that I have right now, because when the interest rates go up on that, I'm not paying those either, even when they start to meet our demands. And the demands are as such: abolish ICE, okay? I want those men home from El Salvador. I don't care. And we need to protect Medicaid. The Department of Education needs to be restored. I want critical race theory in the classroom, period. We need to literally be delusional. I'm going to be delusional right now. I will stand here right now, be delusional, make fun of me all you want. This is what we need to do. This is what we need to do. And if they don't meet our demands, then what we're going to do is then we're going to stop paying our rent. But for right now, stop paying your bills. Stop paying your debt. We're going to start there. And it's like, what the fuck do I have to, oh, my credit score for the house that I'll never buy? I already am not allowed to rent because I don't make enough money. I have to have a cosigner anyway, so what does my credit score even fucking matter? What does it matter, bro? Literally, what? I want Doge out of office. We're done with him. We're done with him. And free healthcare for all people. I'm so dead serious. Guys, we're done with this.
So, what does all of this mean in the long run? Are we watching the collapse of traditional employment models in real time? And more importantly, who's going to protect the workers left stranded by the system? We'll continue to monitor Nissan's next steps and report on the second wave of layoffs as it begins. If you've been affected or know someone who has, we want to hear from you. Drop a comment below. Whether it's your story, a message of support, or just a word of warning, this is your space. A big thank you once again to the brave creators and reporters who are keeping this story alive. Your work is invaluable. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you stay in the loop as we cover more stories like this: labor justice, corporate accountability, and how ordinary people are fighting back in extraordinary ways. Stay informed, stay empowered, and above all, stay human. We'll see you in the next one. Until then, be good and remain positive.